Is this a drill or something?
Who are Rey's biological parents? This is a question many have attempted to solve, from Luke Skywalker himself to Emperor Palpatine. Are Rey's parents powerful beings already familiar to audiences? Is she the chosen one reincarnate? Or is she just an average orphan chosen by the Force to bring balance once again?
You were the chosen one! It was said that you would destroy the Sith, not join them!
Now, the reason I believe we are seeing so many similarities to previous characters in the Star Wars universe, much like parallels drawn between A New Hope and The Force Awakens, is actually by design. Now, you're probably already familiar with George Lucas's Star Wars poetry.
You see the echo of where it all's going to go. It's like poetry, so if they rhyme.
But what if I pose the question, what if Rey's father was in fact Supreme Leader Snoke himself? J.J. Abrams himself has openly stated we do not see Rey's biological parents in The Force Awakens, which rules out the Skywalkers, Solos, and Snoke. However, this theory somewhat hinges heavily on if you subscribe to Gallius Rax being Supreme Leader Snoke, which I outlined in a previous video, and also if Gallius Rax was Rey's father, for argument's sake, and a tragedy befell him, much like Anakin's transition to Vader. If Snoke was Rax and he was believed to be dead and he took up a new title as Supreme Leader, it would be true we never saw Rey's parents in The Force Awakens from a certain point of view.
So what I told you was true, from a certain point of view.
A certain point of view?
Now, of course, only Abrams could get away with a deception of that magnitude so casually. Now, in no way is this a concrete theory at this point. However, I would be remiss if I didn't at least explore its merits, so let's have a look at some of the facts. Gallius Rax was born on Jakku. His life there was very meager and in no way would reflect his transformation to Snoke, as he would naturally, like his old title, abandon his past, which makes him have a natural aversion to directly visiting his home planet, much like Anakin as Vader. Also, it may be a case of the last place you look. Whoever put Rey on Jakku wasn't a friendly sort, or they were incredibly gullible or mean, as she seemed to be the ward of the rather cruel Unkar plot, which makes me believe she was clearly abandoned, and if the abandonee was desperate, would Unkar plot be anyone's first choice if they're a good guy? Hell, even last choice. That dude is a scumbag. Anybody can see through him. It's not like a Solo or a Skywalker or any Jedi would, they wouldn't leave the planet as we see her looking up at his ship unless they were incredibly desperate or they just didn't care, or there was a lot of apathy in there. Now, if Snoke knew he had offspring and was injured much like Vader before being able to raise them, the following would make sense. Why was Snoke uncharacteristically adamant that he was brought Rey before him? Was it the knowledge of the map or her potential in the Force? He seemed to really perk up at the mention of a scavenger from Jakku, especially as Ren said she resisted his mind invasion technique, something that Gallius Rax was also capable of. If he was her father, he would be like, wait a second, this is something that I'm known for, or an ability that's close to me. If he knew there was a stirring of a daughter, that would totally pique his interest, and he was uncharacteristically so adamant about seeing her. It could be his old life stirring within, it could be he's sick of Kylo and wants to train her, as he's incredibly fearful of Jedi re-emerging, and he seems to want to shut that down at any cost. Now, I know things would be unoriginal to some, actually scratch that most, but remembering George Lucas's theory on Star Wars poetry, you know that the prequels mirrored the original trilogy and The Force Awakens was widely seen as a near reboot of A New Hope. So, if Snoke was revealed to be Rey's father, mirroring Empire Strikes Back, then Luke's role to train her would make sense as a Yoda/Ben figure, especially if he knows her lineage. Like, oh shit, you're Snoke's daughter, I know exactly how you feel, and then reluctantly train her to assassinate her own father. That's not only messed up, but it would also make sense that if they were trying to do the poetry, how they tried to tie it together. It could be a slap in the face to fans if it's written really well and executed well. You can see how Luke, vows to leave the known galaxy, searching for the first Jedi temple, and Snoke's daughter approaches him. He feels her compassion, the light side strong within her, sensing her destiny as Maz Kanata did. Maybe that would be enough to pull him back back into the fight to not only protect her from the First Order, but also from the dark side, redeeming himself in the process with his feelings of failure with the massacre at the Jedi Temple at the hands of Kylo Ren and the Knights, because that is totally on him. Again, maybe he knew her lineage and he was one of the people that separated her before he fled the galaxy. He's really just left things like Ben did, like Yoda did, the Jedi do in these times of turmoil, and it seems like the next generation is destined to pick things up. Rey's lineage theories in the moment, there are definitely holes. Now, would it secretly be exciting to have another I am your father type moment? I can see why J.J. Abrams would do everything in his power to protect the audiences from that big surprise, because I don't think anybody would see something of that magnitude coming. Now, let me know in the comments below, because if you love Star Wars, I want to talk to you about it. It's as simple as that, my friends. If you want to stay up to date with the latest Star Wars videos on origins, games, and theories, don't forget to use those force powers of yours and hit subscribe. And hey, leave a comment below about what you want to see in future videos. It may just get covered. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you. Always.